Good evening. It is 4:06 p.m. on 10-17-2016. It's time for Christian Talk Live with your host, me, Isaac David Bregman. And let's get started.
So then, how do we watch and play sports to the glory of God? 1 Corinthians 10:31. Whether you eat or drink, whatever you do, so whether you eat or drink or play sports or watch sports, how do you do that to the glory of God? Particularly in a culture that idolizes sports in so many ways. Imagine for a moment that you live in another country, one completely foreign to this one, and you have an opportunity one fall to spend a week in Birmingham. So you come on a Sunday morning, and you observe many people, maybe even most, slowly rising to make their way to a building they call a church. They groggily approach that building for some sort of ceremony. Clearly, whatever happens at the beginning of that ceremony is not that important, because most of the people don't come until after it has started. I'm not looking at anybody. I'm just saying. And so you watch them file in and begin to mouth the words to songs, many of them almost expressionless, virtually emotionless, after which they sit down and passively listen to someone talk to them for a period of time. You notice people starting to get a bit fidgety, uneasy, as the time for the ceremony to end approaches. When it's finally over, they quickly walk out. But as you walk with them, you listen to them, and you hear many of them talking with one another about something that had happened the previous day. They smile, and they laugh as they recount another ceremony they'd been to, apparently a bit more interesting than this one. A ceremony that happens apparently on Saturdays. In fact, the rest of the week, that's almost all you hear people talking about, the coming Saturday ceremony. Even the people who were at the Sunday ceremony are strangely silent about what they heard and sang about there, but very enthusiastic about the Saturday that can't seem to get here soon enough. So as your curiosity is piqued, you begin to eagerly anticipate the coming Saturday ceremony with them. That Saturday comes, you see people wake up and leave their houses dressed in some sort of outfit that they love to wear for these types of days. Many of them drive out of the city, some an hour west, others a couple of hours south, where they gather together on what they call hallowed grounds for the Saturday ceremony. They get there early for this ceremony, way early, where they eat and drink and laugh and play, not just with their family or with their friends, but with complete strangers. You've never seen community like this. And when the time comes, they all, tens of thousands of them, enter a shrine together. You can't think of another word for it. Where they raise their voices with passion to applaud some sort of assembly of children they don't know playing a game on a field. As that game begins, they shout and chant and sing until they virtually lose their voices, with far more passion than the previous Sunday's ceremony for sure. People don't look at their...
Okay, now let's get into the topic. What he is basically saying is that there is people that take sports more important than religion. When that's also the same mess as that, if I say the name wrong, correct me, that Colin Kaepernick, he's getting attention. See, what we're saying is that there seems to be that sports gets to look more important than religion, and it starts to look like people want to go to a sporting event more than they do church. But then when sports is going on, then we start seeing things that look more important than sports, like all the politics and religion take over instead of sports. So truthfully, sports really has nothing to do with anything anymore, because you cannot have a sporting event without who does these athletes want to vote for as president. Why does this athlete not want to say the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem or sing the national anthem? Why does this one stay out of the game so much, when knowing what it is it's because he was wounded. So the point is, these topics take over more than the sporting event itself. So it's like saying you're jockeying for position. Which comes first, the sporting event or all the things around it, like injuries, religions, politics? Religion's important, don't get me wrong. But I think it's time we start trying to say, athletes, you need to start look at these coaches in these colleges and these high school programs in sports. They're doing things nowadays that they couldn't have done. I applaud you, coaches, who decide that you want to let your athletes know about God and Jesus to the point of giving them Bibles. I applaud that. I appreciate that. I love that. You're doing something I would do if I was a coach too. And I tell you, now do remember to get a hold of us. You can email us at jesusheartradio@gmail.com or leave comments in the comment section. But that is JESUSHEARTRADIO. All one long word. No spaces in it. All one long word. And also, they're all lowercase letters. But when you contact us on this subject, you say your opinions of it. You say if there's something you want us to talk about when we do this and all that kind of stuff. But I want to tell y'all something. It don't make no sense when we start seeing how there are hunters and fishermen out there who are actually good Christian men that take it seriously to put God in the boat with them, to put God in the deer stand with them, and say that when the food is being killed, it's food. They're not killing for trophies. And I applaud you, you Christian athletes and you Christian hunters. But see, and we're more worried about the beauty of a race car driver than is she a Christian? Is she done things in her life that could have got her in trouble, as in almost having wrecks in places? I mean, y'all worry more about the nitpicky stuff than to worry about the actual event that you claim to love so much. I think that you want info more than you want the event itself, because if you can get the info, then all that other stuff don't mean nothing. But you lie to the world and say that the sports is so important. I say, why? Why do you do this, folks? It don't make no sense. You put God on the back burner and put sports on the front burner, and then even when you put sports on the front burner, you're more worried about the news of sports than the sporting event itself, about their relationships, about their religions, about their political beliefs, about their injuries, till the sporting event itself is nothing more than an excuse to get to know about the nitpicky stuff about it instead of the game itself. Why come religion cannot come first? Why can't sports come second? God and religion should come first. Then sports later, And if there's Christian hunters out there who hunt for food and they give it to a church or a shelter or whatever, the food they kill, the animal they kill, the deer, the duck, the pheasant, the quail, yes, that's good. But the thing is, we sit there and we worry more about this stuff. I mean, you people have not even said half of what you really mean. If you really said what you really meant, people, you would see people looking at you like, I got an idea here. I need to talk about something that I should have talked about a long time ago. What is really truthfully important to me? What is truthfully the thing? But I can't say it. If I was to truthfully say what was really important to me, then I'd have to be telling you that sporting events may be the last thing on my mind and more about what's going on. As in the people getting wounded in sports, people's politics in sports, people's injuries in sports, their religion. If it came out right now that Babe Ruth had him a religion and what it was, I would be like all for that. I'd be like, good, you're talking about his religion and what he is. Not something like I mean, he's a baseball player. He was a good baseball player. What is his religion? What is his, I mean, yes, what if they said he was a Democrat or a Republican, and they said what religion he was, and they said how good he played, and said who he played for, and said if he ever got traded to another team or not. Yeah, the event is important, yes. And if you're going to say, well, okay, I'm going to say that the sporting event is important. Well, you can say that up and down, but are you serious about that, or are you just saying what you think we want to hear? If you really like the sporting event, take the event seriously, and the other things that come with it, like these players' religion, these players' political beliefs, their stance on the American flag, or where they stand on any flag. See, why is it that there's no such a thing anymore as, or at all, about there being basically religious organizations dedicated to showing off the religious athletes that take their job as second nature and their beliefs as first nature? I mean, come on. You got to understand, folks. I'm not saying don't take religion seriously. I'm just saying if you take religion seriously, then talk about it. Say that this is what you want to do. This is how you want to be. But see, we can't sit there and, like, for instance, if you take sports seriously, then please, I hope you don't say it's more important than God and Jesus. And if you think that, you got some problems here, because God and Jesus want to be a part of sports in the sense of getting people to, and look, there's TiVo, there's DVRs, there's VCRs, CD players, DVD players. You can record your sporting event while you were gone to church. You don't have to sit there and watch it all the time, because you will know what's going on, and let the world know that you're recording the event so they don't be trying to tell you stuff about it you don't want to hear right away. But at least let the world be more important to you than a sporting event. The world as in the world of God and Jesus, not sports. I mean, it should be on the back burner. We let sports be more important. We will get up early. People will get up early in the morning, get all decked out in their religious garb, and go out to a field to watch a sporting event and hoop and holler till you're hoarse on Saturday mornings. But then Sunday mornings you act like you don't want to even get up to go to church because you were still reeling from the good time you had at the sporting event. Why is it? And you probably was drinking beer at the sporting event, then the next day be at church on Sunday. You shouldn't be drinking beer, period, people. Why is it? People need to